Okay, nice win up in Logan. I thought we played extremely well defensively for the third week in a row. Anytime you can limit your opponent to, whatever, 116 some odd yards and 8 first downs, that's a very good production defensively. We tackled well, we hustled around, we made some big plays. Paul Kruger was very, very effective. 4 sacks, ties the school record for a single game sack record. So a lot of good things on defense Saturday night. Offensively, I thought we were improved, still not where we need to be. We did show more consistency. Obviously, we put up 58 points, which is huge. 100 points in the last 2 games. So we're getting the ball in the end zone, scoring points, but we still have some things to clean up. Special teams-wise, we really had a solid performance in 3 phases. It was overshadowed dramatically by a embarrassing punt return performance. We did not handle that well at all. It was the worst punt return performance since I've been here. It was a fiasco is what it was, and we just for one reason or another couldn't secure the ball. We got to obviously go to work on that this week. It's priority 1 in the kicking game is finding out who that guy is that's going to return punts. I obviously jumped the gun when I thought we had that solidified the week before. Proved not to be the case. So we're back to square one with the punt returners. We're going to try out 3 or 4 different guys and hopefully settle on a guy that will be dependable in that role. Injury-wise, we came out pretty good. We just lost one backup linebacker, Matt Martinez, to a bicep injury. Don't know when he'll be back. May involve surgery, we may not. They're still evaluating. So other than Matt's injury, we came out pretty clean in this football game. Let's see, Utah or Air Force up next. Tough place to play, Colorado Springs. They're 3-0, coming off a very nice win at Houston. Played at SMU due to the weather situations, but it was a road game nonetheless for them. They played good football. They're their usual self offensively, second in the nation in rushing offense, second only to Navy, I believe. So they're Air Force, typical Air Force offense. Different formations, different looks, pre-snap, but you're getting the same plays essentially that you've gotten over the last 20 years. And so they're running those plays very effectively as usual. Defensively, they're playing very well. They're second in the league in scoring defense. They're up there in the top 3 or 4 in total defense. So they're scrappy on defense. Kicking game, they're very good in most phases of the kicking game. They're first, second, or third in most all phases. I think kick return, they're a little bit off the pace, but the other phases, they're doing a nice job. So got our work cut out for us. It's another conference game. We're both 1-0 in conference. It's an important game, as is every week. But, the key to us defensively will be to play disciplined assignment football as it is every year. I thought we played them okay last year. Give up 20 points. That's a little bit too much, but it was not a bad effort against them defensively last year. Obviously, offensively, we were nowhere near good enough last year in that particular game. So, looking forward to opening playing another conference game this weekend at Air Force. Yeah, well, you simulate and practice as best you can a game situation. Have defenders bearing down on them and put them under pressure, which we have done anyways to this point. And so, it's a situation where I have, it's tough to figure why we had that issue on Saturday with more than one guy. 3 guys that had difficulty catching the ball, tracking the ball. But we got to get it fixed. All I know is we got to get it fixed because that will cost us down the road if we don't get it fixed and taken care of.
Better.
I think we've upgraded the speed on defense each of the last 4 years. Yeah, I think this is our fastest defense. Of the last 4 years, and that certainly helps when you're playing the option game. Be able to run those things down. That's a big plus. Yeah, they don't. That's just typical Air Force. It's untypical to not complete any balls, but they're not going to throw the ball any more than 10 or 12 times most weeks of the season. So you got to play run just about every snap against those guys. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6. That's a rundown for them, and so you got to be tuned in completely to the option. Play run first and foremost, and just hold up against a throw. I mean, you got to, the type of offense they run is, just a grind it out, stay on schedule, 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2, first down. I mean, that's the type of offense they are. They've led the league in 3rd down efficiency several times over the last 20 years. Probably 15 of those 20 years, they've probably led the league in third down efficiency. That's just a guess, but they're very good on third down because they get themselves in such manageable third down situations due to the effectiveness of their run game. Yeah, well, he's done a great job. There's no doubt. You know, they still have the same gritty, tough, disciplined type of athlete that they've always had. I think the new looks, formation-wise, has helped them. You know, before there was very few formations that you had to deal with in Air Force. Same plays, like I said, but from very basic formations. Whereas now, Coach Calhoun has, you know, if you look up on our wall in the defensive staff room, there's probably 25 different formations that we've got to adjust to and defend. And you know, like I said, there's only so many plays you can run, but they're coming from different formations, which causes you to have different assignments based on your deployment of your defensive personnel. Yeah, huge week for the Mountain West Conference. Maybe the biggest week in the since the inception of the conference. Going 4-0 against Mountain West or against the Pac-10 teams, with TCU beating Stanford and BYU demolishing UCLA. Who were the other ones we had? Arizona State get beat by UNLV, and that, you know, it goes to show what, you know, just because a team's supposed to beat a team in a certain week, it doesn't always happen, and that was one of those inexplicable losses. I don't know. You guys have to define that for me. I hear that term all the time. You have to tell me what inexplicable means, but in college football terms, there's a lot of those each and every week, and that was one of them. Certainly, Arizona State, UCLA, or Arizona State, UNLV, and then the fourth was New Mex beating Arizona at home. So that was a great weekend for the Mountain West. The Mountain West, we talk about wanting to gain respect and notoriety, and the way to do that is to do exactly what we did Saturday, and that's beat quality teams from these BCS conferences. That's the only way to get people's attention. You can talk and flap your gums all you want, but until you beat those teams in those situations, which we did Saturday, that's what's really going to bring the conference the respect and the recognition that it deserves. I think it is. I think to get, you know, to have the Mountain West Conference teams being recognized in that setting and that venue is a positive for the league. And you know, it's still early though. You know, we're only 3 games in, and I'm a proponent of not ranking teams till the 4th or 5th week. I think that would be more. You know, you see these teams bouncing in and out on a weekly basis at this point in time. That should settle down as the season wears on. But yeah, there's no doubt that having 2 teams ranked and another team knocking at the door, and you know, is a positive for the conference, no doubt. Positives, we're scoring points. You know, like I said, 100 points the last 2 games. We weren't that productive at Michigan, 25. That's still a decent output, but I'd say we're getting the ball in the end zone. The running game, certainly a positive. You know, between Darrell Mack and Matt Asiata, we're getting good production there. You combine those guys' yards with what Brian gives us in the QB run game, and then Eli Wesson and some of the others, Jeremy Brooks on the fly sweep series. And, you know, we rushed for 230-something yards Saturday night. So I think that, you know, that's been a big positive. Turnovers has not been a positive. I think we turned the ball over 1 time on offense Saturday night. That's 1 time too many. But we got to do a little better job securing the football. The other 2 turnovers obviously were on the punt game. But that's something that we need to clean up. I think the throw game, when you look at it in respect to last year, relative to last year, has been a positive as well. We're throwing the football much more effectively now than we were at any point last year. A lot of that is due to Brian's arm strength and being healthy. You know, there's 2 schools of thought when you play Air Force. Some people and some teams, I should say, like to control the football, kind of, you know, grind them and methodically, you know, try to match what the Air Force is trying to do, keep the ball away from them. The best defense against their offense is to keep their offense on the sideline. And so we've, you know, some teams go that route. Some teams just play wide open and spread them out, and try to usually have a speed advantage over the Air Force squad. It's usually the case, not always, but usually the case. And so, you know, I think you got to be able to do both at certain times in the game, but there are definitely 2 schools of thought. Keep the ball away from them by just pounding them with the run game, or spreading them out and trying to, you know, get them with the throw game. I just think it based on personnel, and you know, I don't think it is any one better way than the other, as long as you can be effective, you know, one way or the other.